Hello everybody, welcome to IA Command. This is TV Boy, and today is November 25th. It's actually the day before Thanksgiving, and I wanted to make a video just to go over some community updates. Been a lot happening with Imperial Assault the last few weeks, and I just feel like I haven't really had time to sit down and do a video. Been really busy. As you guys know, I have a son on the way, due in any week now. Like we're really close to the due date, and so just been really busy getting everything ready. Finally got some time to take off of work, which was super crazy, and now it's just like switch from work to getting everything ready for baby. And but I have been able to participate in some community stuff. We had some tournaments over the weekend. We've got some events going on. So yeah, definitely a lot to talk about. So let's get right to it. And I think the first thing I'm going to talk about, actually something I kind of just want to get out of the way. It's actually not really Imperial Assault related. But a lot of you may have heard of this. Last Monday, it was announced that development for Star Wars miniatures games is moving from Fantasy Flight Games to Atomic Mass Games. Now, I'm just going to fill some people in. First of all, this only pertains to Star Wars X-Wing, Armada, and Legion. This is not having to do with Imperial Assault, and I'm going to explain why in a second. Basically, to give you some background on this issue, Atomic Mass Games is a studio that was created by Asmodee. They are the game publishing company that acquired and owns Fantasy Flight Games a few years back. I think back in like 2015 or 2013, something like that. Anyway, they created this studio called Atomic Mass Games, and it was to develop and create a miniatures game called Marvel Crisis Protocol that came out, I think, in 2019. So this is a studio, Atomic Mass is a new studio that only does Marvel Crisis so far, and Asmodee has moved over development of these 3 Star Wars miniatures games to this new studio. They're taking it away from FFG basically, and they also laid off a bunch of Fantasy Flight developers that were working on those games, although they retained some people in the transition. But a lot of key people like Alex Davey was fired, Matt Holland, who did Organized Play. For those who don't know, Alex Davey was the creator of Legion and its main developer. From what I've heard, a lot of the Fantasy Flight people didn't know this was going to happen until it was announced on Monday. So a little bit of controversy there. I want to clear it up though, because this doesn't actually pertain to Imperial Assault, and the reason for that is a lot of people are saying, well, Imperial Assault wasn't mentioned because Imperial Assault dead game. No, that's actually not why. In fact, Imperial Assault has not been officially retired the way that Star Wars Destiny was. The reason Imperial Assault is not part of this transfer is because Imperial Assault is a board game, not a miniatures game. And you can actually see that that's officially that's an official stance from Fantasy Flight, because if you look at their products page, if you actually go into fantasyflight.com, fantasyflightgames.com, and then products, they have all their games, and you can sort them by universe, genre, but also category. And you can see here they have board and card games and miniatures games. And if you click on board and card games, you'll see, of course, Descent, and then there's Imperial Assault right next to Star Wars Outer Rim and Star Wars Rebellion, which were also not mentioned in this transition. But if you click on miniatures games, you will only find X-Wing, Legion, and Armada, along with 2 actual dead games of Rune Wars and X-Wing First Edition. So that is the reason that Imperial Assault was not mentioned in this announcement. It's a board game, and it's staying with Fantasy Flight. Just like Outer Rim and Rebellion are going to stay with Fantasy Flight. So it's not all Star Wars games, it's just these 3 miniatures games, X-Wing, Armada, and Legion, are moving to Atomic Mass Games. Now, we still don't have any news of any further development for Imperial Assault from Fantasy Flight Games, just that there's been rumors that it's going to be coming back in like 2023, is the rumor I've heard. And that, you know, there was that one Asmodee rep that said the story of Imperial Assault is not over. So that's kind of what we have to go on. But for now, we're expecting Imperial Assault to not be getting any development from Fantasy Flight for at least a year, and but it's not moving to Atomic Mass. So Atomic Mass not getting Imperial Assault. All right, let's move on to some real news for Imperial Assault. Starting with a big announcement from IACP is the new map rotation. So for those that didn't see, the map rotation is going to be happening on November 30th. And this is going to be rotating out the Endor defense station for the new map, Chopper Base Atalon. This is a map that was included with the Hera, Syndulla, and Chopper expansion pack. It's a pretty fun map. I've played it a few times since I'm on the steering committee, and I help them. I help choose these map rotations. This is not a map that I actually was even on my radar, but it was suggested by Jake, and I played it a few times. It's quite fun actually, and I feel like it's very balanced. And it's actually weirdly, it's very balanced for both close and long range. Like, so this map doesn't really give you a good. This map makes, or this picture makes it look very large. And this, by the way, Jake wrote an excellent article on the IACP homepage talking about the new map. So this is a much better. Actually, let me go into a more zoomed in, and hopefully it's loading. Hopefully it doesn't show you anything. This is our steering committee Google Drive. So. Okay, good. It didn't like go back and show a bunch of spoilers. So, clicking on this, I can show you a much better picture of the map. But it basically, because it has this door in the middle, it's actually, and there's not a whole lot of. Let's see if I can zoom in better. Yeah, there we go. So you can see the deployment zones here. It's actually not that far from each deployment zone to the other one. But because there's a door here, it also makes it much easier to advance safely. But it's very wide like this, so long range figures can kind of move to the edges. But it's actually, there's a lot of places to hide in the middle from the edges. So kind of a spoiler. The missions are, the one is that these colored circles represent spiders that you have to kill to get points. And if you don't kill them, they move each round and try to deal 2 damage to whoever's next to them. Super fun mission. And the other one is kind of a random objective where at the start of each round, you choose 2 colors, and each of those colors become an objective. And then you score points if you control the ones that have been marked as objectives. And if you don't score them, then they build up over time where you could get lots of points from one objective that hasn't been claimed for multiple rounds. This one I also found really fun, even though I don't like randomness so much in these missions, but because of the way the randomness works, where no matter which 2 colors you get, you're going to get objectives that are like evenly distributed. And because it's a start of round and then you score at end of round, you get lots of time to position your figures to score, unlike something like the Tarkin map where you have to react instantly or else your opponent gets the points. So yeah, this map is really fun. I'm really excited. It's crazy that we're rotating Endor defense station, but that map has been it's been in rotation for so long, like even before 2019 Worlds, I want to say, or maybe it was after, like right after 2019 Worlds. So yeah, we're gonna farewell to Endor, and now we're gonna be at so we're gonna have Chopper Base, ISB HQ, and Coruscant Senate Office. All right, moving on to the next item. We have the 2020 Bespin Trials. This is the Season 4 free league play, similar to what we did with the Dagobah Trials in Season 3. This is currently active. It started on Monday, and we've got 26 players playing in this one. If you wanted to join, I'll put a link in the description. I think we can still have people join in the first week, but after that, it's going to be difficult because this is a competitive league. So unlike the testing league where people can kind of jump in and out, this is a competitive league where we don't want, if people jump in and out, it can mess up like tiebreakers and Swiss results. So we kind of want to preserve it. So I think we're still letting people join in the first week, but after week 1 wraps up, it's going to be closed. So if you want to jump in and play in the Bespin Trials, these are being played online using Vassal and Tabletop Simulator, which of course you guys have seen used on the channel. Lots of fun. It's a great way to kind of participate in organized play if you don't have time to play in like a one-day tournament, but you have time to do at least 1 game a week. It's also really fun because you get paired with people that you might not normally play against because of if you're not active at the same time, but it gets you to schedule with people. So that is a ton of fun. Related to that, the Jedi Trials are also running. However, we had 2 people that signed up, so currently working with new players that are interested. This is a league. This is kind of a program we've developed for our new players, because it's hard when you're a new player and you just only play against if you only play against like really strong vets, you just get crushed all the time. That's not a lot of fun. So the Jedi Trials is our program that we have during approved play, where we kind of welcome our new players into the fold and provide them with support they need, help answer questions, and just give them some people who are equally new to play against so they can practice and kind of get a feel for the game without getting curb stomped by us people who've been playing for this game for like multiple years. That is ongoing during approved play. So if you are a new player and are interested in getting involved in skirmish, but just have been a little intimidated, go ahead and you can sign up for this. You can also jump into our IACP Discord channel, and we have a dedicated channel for the Jedi Trials, and this is basically kind of a new player channel. Is a stand-in for that. Great way to look for games with other new people is in the Jedi Trials League Discord channel. And yeah, great. This is a great opportunity. If you're a new player, you've been waiting to jump into Imperial Assault, this is a good way to do it. And I highly recommend you kind of just pop in, say, hi, I'm new. Don't know what I'm doing, but I would love some help. And the community is fantastic. There are so many people that are going to want to help out and give you advice or show you what to do. And we've actually had quite a few new players join the game in the last month, I feel like. So there's definitely wouldn't be a shortage of opponents with a similar skill level if you use the Jedi Trials League channel. All right, moving on. We had some tournaments happen this past 2 weekends. So 2 weeks ago, we had the Jetpack Cup Oceania or Asia and Europe tournaments. I actually played in the Europe tournament, and you guys hopefully got to see those matches. I uploaded them to, I think I streamed. No, I didn't stream. I uploaded them. And then the Built on Hope podcasters covered the Oceania tournament. And we have posted the list for all of these tournaments up on the IACP website, and you can check them out for yourself. So let's take a look at some lists here. So this was the Oceania tournament. That had 4 players. Kyle Bossum won 3-0. Playing Palpthron, Inquisitor, and Maul, which is really cool, with Trandoshan Hunters. So Imperial Brawlers. Pretty sweet. No Vader in that list. And then we also had Forlom appear. This list got some play on the stream. Really cool list with Forlom and Scavenge Weaponry. And for those who don't know, it's an attachment for droids or vehicles only. And you can exhaust it when you declare an attack to deal +1 damage or add +1 damage to the results. So Adam used this with Forlom's ability to change traits to make Forlom a creature, which then allowed the Lothcats to give Forlom some damage tokens with their ability. So Forlom getting +2 damage on each attack made him quite potent. Pretty cool combo there. Looking at the Europe Cup, so this is the one I played in. Isaac actually won that event. He went 3-0 in Swiss and then won in the finals, which was against me. Isaac was playing Bosk Trandoshan's list with Maul as well, and then Jabba Greedo. So this was a really potent mercenary brawlers list. I played Chewbacca with Lando. So I was basically playing a smuggler box list. And I did pretty good, 2-1. Again, you can see my run there. I did try to record the finals game against Isaac. Unfortunately, when I tried to play it back, it looks like the file was corrupted. So I don't know. I might have, if I have time, I might try to just go through the log, because I did save a game log. But yeah, I don't know. I'll try to get that game to you guys. I played pretty well in the beginning, but then I just started making so many misplays in the last 2 rounds that I just got crushed. So anyway, Kyle Bossum also playing ISB Infiltrators. His list was super cool. He was comboing ISB Infiltrators with Death Troopers and Suppressive Fire. So what he would do is he would activate he would move a Death Trooper up, then activate an Infiltrator, have the infiltrator use raid to have the death trooper attack, and then with suppressive fire, the infiltrator would get to move up into position to be able to attack too, and the target would be weakened. So, or I think there was like different combinations, ways to use that that trick, but yeah, really cool list. He did really well, and then we're seeing a lot of IG-88 lists. So IG-88 and IG-11 are doing really well, or seeing a lot of play, I should say. Looking at the tournament from this weekend on the 21st, this was the North American time zone. We had 11 players in this one. Jake Peterson, and so I should just say we have the Swiss results for this, but we're waiting for the top 4 playoff results. But Jake Peterson did go undefeated in Swiss with Vader, Palp, Thrawn, including Maul. And then the 3-1s were Morgan, playing another variation of Scum Brawlers, this time with Diala and Shyla instead of Bosk and Trandoshans, still including Maul and also Onar. And we had Kyle again, doing well, as he does, 3-1, but playing Rebel Saboteurs with Jin Urso, Targeting Computer, Hera, and Mac for some spy goodness, showing that the Sabs do have a place in competitive play. And then another IG-88 and IG-11 list for Herbie, who made it into the top 4 with his tiebreakers. And this is a cool list. I want to point out there's a really cool combo in this list, in Herbie's list, with Cruel Strike. And for those who don't know, it's a 0-point card from the Twin Shadows expansion, which is basically a special action, perform an attack, and then you get the attack gains an extra surge ability for Pierce 1 and Weaken. Generally considered to be a terrible card. If you watched my How to Build a Command Deck video, I actually called that card out as a card you should avoid, like as an example of cards to avoid. But Herbie is using it in his list in combination with IG-88's Assault ability and To the Limit. To the Limit is a 0-point card that says after you perform a special action, which is that black arrow on Cruel Strike, you get to perform an action, but then you get stunned. So it's only useful to perform an extra attack. And because IG-88 has Assault, what you can do is you can attack with IG-88, then with his second action, attack again with Cruel Strike, and then use To the Limit to make a third attack because, again, IG-88 has Assault. So normally that would limit other figures, but because he has Assault, he can use that third action for another attack. And then in combination with, like, what does he have? He had, I swear he had that card that, oh yeah, I think it's Overdrive, that lets you perform free action. So his IG-88 could potentially, with this combo, do 2 movement points and 4 attacks, which is insane. And then you Blaze of Glory. So that's really cool. Some other cool things. Eric, who I think might be new to our community, but I don't recognize the name, but I might be wrong, was playing a Lothcat Swarm. So 2 Elite Lothcats, 4 regular Lothcats. Pretty sweet. And we saw some Sentry Droid Swarm and some Smugglers. And then Joey was running Bantha. He didn't do super well, I think, in this game. He had some... Interestingly enough, I think he just drew poorly. Just luck of the draw in the game that I watched anyway. But I feel like this is probably like the most optimized Bantha Rider list I have seen. I'll probably end up putting the card. I should really put cards up. But the Bantha Rider list, I think if you just drop the Tusken Raiders, otherwise like you're drawing 3 cards a turn, 3 extra cards with Jabba, R2-D2, and Black Market. He's got Crush, Junlin Terror, Ferocity, Grizzly Contest. Like this list, his Bantha can do so much damage with all of these command cards. Single Purpose lets him use Trample twice or whatever, Stampede, whichever one is the special action. And yeah, so I really like Joey's Bantha list. I'm sad it didn't do as well as I think he was hoping it would, but we also did see Yoda, brought by Josh Songer, but I don't think he did super well with it. This was kind of the standard Season 3 Force user list that we saw a lot of in season 3 with Yoda and then a smattering of 7 to 8 point Jedi. I think this list still has legs. I do like that he brought Channel the Force. I think Channel the Force to get knowledge and defense round 1, and then on a later round to get Force Rush. It's really good. And then we saw some rebel vehicles from Carson. So all in all, very diverse metagame so far. This is, and this is very early on. These are just a couple tournaments, about, what is that, 17 players total. Maybe actually, if you don't count the duplicates, it's like 14 players total. But we're seeing a lot of diversity. Some standouts I think that we are noticing. Maul is doing well in pretty much every event. I think so. Isaac had Maul, Kyle had Maul, and then Jake and Morgan have Maul. So Maul doing very well. We knew he was strong going in. I think we definitely too early to make any conclusions, and I think the consensus is Maul is very fun. So we're gonna wait and see on that, but definitely a standout to me is that the Maul seems to be the common denominator in the top lists. Palpatine as well. We're seeing Palpatine do well, but also brawlers in general, and that's probably based around Maul being so strong and being a brawler, but different flavors of brawlers and different flavors of Maul. That's kind of the cool thing about Maul, is because he can go in any faction, because he synergizes so well, and now he can play Empire command cards. He is just because Maul, even if Maul becomes really good, that doesn't mean we're gonna see less diversity. We see so many different flavors of Maul here. I think the only thing we're waiting to see now is a Rebel Maul do well, and I think he could do well in a Rebel Jedi list. Okay, so moving on from that, I wanted to talk a little bit about stats for IACP metagame so far. And I'm going to keep this short and pretty high level, because I know it can get into the weeds a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of keep it short. And I want to do a comparison between Season 4 and Season 3. Because Season 3 is when we started doing stat collection. And we started that during the approved play, which was after playtesting. So you can look here. These are the stats from Season 3. The important ones are on the right side of your screen. And I want to look at the faction breakdown and then activations, comparing from Season 3 to Season 4. So looking at the factions first. Mercenaries Scum were doing not great in Season 3. As you can see here, only 28% of lists were Scum that were being taken, and Scum win rate was at 30%, which is pretty bad. Rebels were fine. They were 34% and 49% win rate, which is perfect, because meta share, you would think 33% would be the best number, of course, because that's 1/3 and there's 3 factions. And then win rate, you want to be pretty close to 50%. So 49.62%. Rebels were doing good in Season 3. Empire had 37.3, so they were taking the meta share away from Scum, and had a 61% win rate, which is really high for one faction out of 3 to have. And of course, this was when Royal Guards were too strong and overtuned, and things were just, Empire was doing a little too well. So let's compare. Looking at Season 4, you can see here, Mercenaries, 38% meta share, so they actually have the highest share, and they're at 51.2% win rate. And again, I do want to point out, this is based on, we have 99 matches sampled, so this includes the tournaments, and then also the playtest games from the 4.2 update and forward, and then any games after that people were submitting to the Dropbox. So this is from 99 matches sampled, whereas Season 3 we had over 200 matches sampled for that one. But so it's still a little early, but so far early trends are positive. We like seeing Mercenaries bouncing back from Season 3, and we really like these numbers. Again, these are very close to 50%. Rebels at 51.67%, 33.3% meta share, so they are perfect. And then Empire, a little low on the meta share. They're not quite as popular, and their win rate's a little lower. That's okay. For me, that's still close. Like, you compare 46% to 30% from that Mercenaries had. Like, Empire is not doing nearly as badly as Scum was doing in Season 3. That said, we do want the factions to be as balanced as possible, but this to me is like, this is looking pretty balanced. Okay, so and just to kind of reflect on a little bit, like, if you look at what Season 4 brought, I think Mercenaries definitely made out the best as far as like the different things. So for Season 4 for Mercenaries, we had Bosk, Trandoshans, Mando, IG-11, Maul, and Baby Yoda, and all of those are like high tier to like very high tier. I think maybe Bosk and Trandoshans are at the bottom, but they're still very solid figures. You look at Empire, though, they had some good ones. So Krennic and, well, Empire had some figures that ended up being not as strong as we were hoping. So E-Web, Mortar, they're all kind of struggling a little bit. But the important thing for Empire was they did get a lot of new build avenues for list building. So you're not just having to do what my friends in the UK call Queen Spam. Vader, Palpatine, Weiss type of stuff. Now Empire, you can build actually like swarm lists with ISB, like we saw with Kyle's list, ISB infiltrators. You have Soren, so you can build more of a vehicle or droid focus list. We've seen a lot of sentry droids being played. And then Krennic, of course, is buffing trooper swarms. So I think we did good by Empire by giving Imperial players more options with how they can build lists. I think they just didn't get quite as many strong toys as the other factions overall. And Rebels, I think, are doing fine. I think if you look at Rebels, like, Saboteurs are not super high tier. They're solid, but they're not like the strongest. You do have to build around and play them well. Rebels got some good toys, but they're not as consistently high tier as like Scum was. So I think so far, all that to say, the faction balance is looking much better in Season 4 than it was in Season 3, and I think you can play any faction in Season 4 and do well, and that's being reflected in the numbers here. Okay, next thing I want to look at is activation count. Just real quickly, right here is where the activation count is. So looking at everything, so Rebels and Mercenaries are obviously high, but actually you see a lot of Rebels and Mercenaries in the 7 activation realm. And then Empire was like down in 3 and 4, as well as in their, the standard place for Empire is 6 activations. That's what you normally see. You saw some going up into 7 and some in the 5, 4, 3. Looking at Season 4, the activation counts is moving up. So 7 and 8 and 9, they actually have a lot of 9 activations for Rebels. Mercenaries, you see, went from 30% having, and I'm doing percentages because that way we can compare apples to apples, because there's more matches from Season 3 than we have for Season 4. So 30% of Scum lists had 8 activations in Season 3, has gone up to 35%. Similarly, 7 activation was 49% in Scum, and that has gone down to 28%. So it's interesting because Scum is actually kind of redistributing from that 8 and 7 out to, or from that 7 activation where they had so many, they're redistributing up and down. So, and then with Empire, you see there's a lot less of these 3 and 4 activation lists, and they are consolidating harder back to 6 and actually going up to 7 and 8 more than what we saw. Well, there's about an equal amount of 7, but slightly more 8 activation lists for Empire. And those are swarms, by the way. Those are not like Vader or Queen lists having 8 activations. So overall, that just what that means is activation counts are going up, and I think this was predictable. It's going up for Scum and Rebels, not for Empire. So if you were thinking that 8 activations would beat everything, or that 7 activations are fine, and you're trying to get last activation, you'll probably want to rethink that for season 4, because we're seeing the activation count rise again. And I think that because we got more cheap figures. Loku is a big part of that. Lando. There's a lot more cheaper. There are cheaper figures in season 4 that are going to allow more lists to have those slightly higher activation counts. Yeah, so I think, what else should we look at? I think a lot of these numbers are interesting, but still a little soon. I would draw conclusions from these blue numbers of matches played, so over 20. So IG 88, IG 11 is at 50% win rate, which is great, because he started off a little weak in the beginning of playtesting. Mandalorian 42, that's fine, not quite as strong as IG 11, but he's doing good. Let's see, Sabine has been coming up in play. She's been seeing a lot more play. In season 3, she was not doing well. Well, I guess she's doing about the same in season 3. So it's doing slightly better, probably because of Loku. So yeah, this is kind of the stats, and I'll post a link to this sheet just so people can look at it. But yeah, Scum. So basically, takeaway is season 4, Scum doing much better. Empire toned down, but not doing badly. Just has been toned down a lot from season 3. Rebels still doing fine. Activation counts slightly higher for mercenaries and rebels. So if you're trying to out activate somebody, 8 in Devious Scheme or 9 might be where you want to be. And yeah, that's it. So we're still tracking this, and if you are playing Vassal, and if you want to log your game, I'll post the link to the IACP Dropbox so you can post those logs for us, and I will be tracking them. So again, Thanksgiving tomorrow. If you're watching this on the day I upload it, I just thought, with Thanksgiving, for those who don't know, maybe if you're not from the States, Thanksgiving is kind of this holiday we have in America. It has some controversial past, but it's basically become just a general time to cook and eat and gather together with people that you love, which is hard right now. A lot of people can't do that. We just had to learn that that's affecting us too. We had plans for who we were going to be with when our baby comes in early December, and things have changed. So I just wanted to kind of just go over, I just want to talk about what I'm thankful for, because that's kind of one of the traditions of Thanksgiving is we bring up what you're thankful for, the things you have. In 2020, it's hard to be thankful, There's been a lot of bad stuff in 2020, but it's important to remember what you have, the blessings we have. A lot of people are less fortunate, and it's important to keep in mind how good we actually have it for those that don't. So I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to all of you who watch this channel, who support the channel, giving it thumbs up, likes, views, comments. You guys are great, and I do this because I know it helps people and people love the game. I want to thank the entire Imperial Assault skirmish community for staying engaged with IACP and for going easy on us in the steering committee. We don't get it right every time, but we try our best. And it would be really easy to kind of just jump on us and be like, you guys are idiots, what are you doing? But we really appreciate that the community goes easy on us, is understanding, and is always willing to help and give constructive feedback. We really appreciate it. I want to say thank you to the IACP steering committee. This is a great group of people that love the game, that are great players and smart, and that have worked hard to keep this game going and just really thankful for being given a part on the committee to help. Humbled by that, and just thankful to everybody for throwing in their weight and pitching in when some of us can't help and some of us are too busy. The rest of the committee pitches in and steps up, and that's been really great to see. I want to thank all you new players who have joined since 2020. You know, it's a risk. It's risky to join a new game right now, and you can only play online. And when that game is not being supported by the publisher that created it anymore. So thank you to the new players who are joining and getting involved in this game and taking a risk on this game and on this community. We're so happy to have you. I want to thank Scott and Kenny for keeping the Zion's Finest Slack open and going and strong. It's been such an important community hub for people to be able to talk about the game and stay connected. Thank you guys so much for keeping that Slack channel open. And I want to thank my family, my extended family, and my personal family, and my wife's family for supporting us. I'm so thankful to have such an awesome support network. On a more personal note, you know, for the baby and everything that's going on with the pandemic, people have really stepped up to support and help us virtually and remotely when we can't meet in person. And it's been such a blessing. I'm thankful that my son is still healthy and we're still on track for our birth plan, and we haven't had any major complications that have stuck. All the things that popped up and that were worrying and concerning, and the false alarms basically have all kind of been resolved so far. And a lot of things we were really worried about, we were able to get through it. And I am thankful for my wife, for everything that she does for me and for our son. She has been through so much these past 9 months, this past year, and she has been so strong and persevered. She's an amazing woman, and I can't do this type of stuff without her support either. And I'm thankful for God for watching over us and protecting us during this. We've managed to stay healthy. Our son has managed to stay healthy. We've managed to keep our finances above board, and I know a lot of people haven't, and I'm just thankful for that. And I hope all of you who are watching can find something or multiple things that you're thankful for. Even though it has been a really, really hard year. It's just good to be able to reflect. Let me know, guys, what you're thankful for in the comments of this video. And happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Please stay safe. If you're traveling or if you're staying home, whatever you're doing, please stay safe. And send your love out to the people in your life that you care about, because it's important. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and happy holidays. And I'll see you on the other side.